Well, this is a new concept for me. We're trying to do a video address instead of making everyone come into meetings for the new classes we're going to offer on math enrichment and LEAP. I'm going to talk about math enrichment first. My name is Julie Plikerd, and I will be teaching the K through 4 math enrichment. Each group will meet on different days. K1 will meet on one day, 2 will meet on one day, 3, 4. And that way I'll have one every day of the week except Monday, which is last period is chapel. When we do enrichment, what we're going to be doing is looking for ways to make them think, make them puzzle, make them noodle. I will always tell them, you need to noodle this and you need to figure this out. We're trying to make them work on a higher level Bloom's taxonomy. And we also will be taking them further in math. If we have second graders who can divide, then we will be trying to challenge them in the next step in math. But that's not the only thing we're doing. We're going to be working on trying to make them figure things out, and what should I do first, and how would I sequence this, and why do we do it that way? With our advanced classes, we aren't just interested in the right answer so much anymore, though of course the right answer, especially in math, is very important. But we're also interested in why we do something. So we will be working with, I don't know if you've heard of this before, Bloom's taxonomy. Instead of just asking them the right answer, we're going to ask them what ifs, hows, and how do we get there? Analysis. What do we do with that information? What's so important about it? This will be new for me this year, so we're kind of be feeling it out. I am blessed with a richness of materials that we will be using. A lot of hands-on, a lot of, how can I change this shape into this shape by moving different things? And I don't tell them the answer. So sometimes that gets very frustrating for them because, they're used to, after 2 or 3 minutes of fumbling with something, that someone will tell them the answer. That usually does not happen in LEAP. Usually what happens is we're saying, you know what? That's enough of it today. I bet we can figure out later. So a lot of times they may come home to you with questions on how to figure something out, and you may not want to answer it right away. You may want to email me and see if this is something they're supposed to be noodling. We try to make class fun. We try to make it challenging. And most of all, we want them to come here and leave with a sense of accomplishment. The idea is not to, by not answering their questions, to frustrate them, but to let them know that I believe that, eventually they will get that answer. And it will be so much more gratifying when they get that answer on themselves. The one thing that we do with our leapers, though, is we try to make sure, and I'm saying leapers, also math enrichment, is we try to make sure that they know that this knowledge, this ability to do more is truly a blessing from God, and it's not something that we want them to go around and brag about. So it's not like, oh, I get to leave my class now, I'm going to leap, and you don't get to go. That's something we ask you to talk to your child about to get them ready for coming to LEAP. And if you're getting this message, if you've been keyed into this, then your child has been picked out by his test scores and by his teacher, his or her teacher, to qualify for the program. It is optional. Though I would suggest that you let them try it, and then let them try it for a while before you let them make up their mind if they like it or don't like it. It can be a little frustrating for kids who have to know the answer all the time. So that is something you may need to discuss with them. It's not meant to frustrate. It's meant to have fun, and we just don't always know the answers. Sometimes we have to think, I'll get that later. I know I sound like I'm babbling, but like I said, nobody's ever put a camera in front of my face and asked me to do this before. So I'll probably think of something later, but right now I'm going to turn to our 3rd and 4th grade LEAP. That LEAP class is reading. Now, all the enrichment, math enrichment, of course, being one day a week, and then the reading is ungraded. You will get reports and look for papers that we're doing inside their folders. But, every week I'll try to send you a note of what we worked on today so that you will know what we're doing. In fourth grade LEAP, you will see that appear onto their lesson plans because I will be their official reading teacher. But saying that, if they come into LEAP and they give me their effort and they really try, they will get an A. Now, I don't like to tell them so much that it's ungraded, but because I'm going to be asking them to do stuff that, they aren't quite used to. Most of the children that come to me are used to getting the A, and they want to get the A, and they just as soon take a test that proves they could get an A. But we know these kids. We know they know who did it and when they did it and how they did it. But now we're into why did they do it, and what if something else happened, and what can we take from this? And we go more into a higher level of blooms on how can we take this information and use it somewhere else, or how can we take this information and figure out, and compare it to another book or another situation. Would this work here? It's more analysis and synthesis. And with that kind of push, they're on kind of like sandy ground, and they're not sure of themselves, and they're afraid their A is going to be jeopardized. So as long as they keep up on their reading, and as long as they do the activities that we have set, the worst thing that can happen is they may have to do something over again, which, believe me, really seems like the worst thing that can happen to them. They really hate having to do things twice, but sometimes to get things right, we have to do it over again. We're going to be reading books basically out of history. The first book we're going to start with is A Lion to Guard Us. And A Lion to Guard Us is about a family being left behind while their father moves to Jamestown. Well, just for an example of that, then we're going to go into Jamestown. And then we're going to talk about Rolfe, who's in this book, who started tobacco farming and brought wealth to the New World. And then, because of the shipwreck that happens to them, we're going to talk about Shakespeare's Tempest and go through a children's version of that, and how history can be seen, you can learn a lot of history through fiction. And then, I'm not necessarily saying we're do it with this book, but an activity we could do would be something like Fortunately, Unfortunately. This looks like a very young children's book, which it is. I think it's, 5 to 8. We will read this book about fortunately he got a balloon, unfortunately he carried away. And then they will retell a book such as A Lion to Guard Us in this fortunately, unfortunately kind of storytelling. So they're going to take knowledge and then try to adapt it into something like, fortunately, the children got on a ship to America with the doctor. Unfortunately, the doctor was washed overboard. Where they have to tell a story following that realm. And it's hard. It's definitely a mind boggler and a mind noodler. So that is one thing we will be, looking at. Another activity I love to do with this age group is the backwards alphabet book. And why Q is for duck, Y is Q for duck, and then, the class is going to guess because a duck quacks. But why then would, D be for lion? Because the lion was a doorknob. We can use these kind of books into other literature and make them stretch. I pull a lot of our activities out of both in math enrichment and 3rd and 4th grade LEAP from Ingenuity. Ingenuity is a program that is developed for the gifted. I ran into them at the Gifted Conference. And this packet right here is just a packet of activities, things you can do. And the fun thing with them is you can do these kind of activities with anything. We could write a wanted poster for somebody who stole something from a book, or we could write, a eulogy for someone who, passed away in the book, naming their positive characteristics. Here is a graphic organizer. The one thing about this class is students get a lot of choice in what they're going to do with the book that they read. When it comes time to do the book project, it can be a number of things that they develop. So, again, if your child's scored him high enough from the Terra Novas or the SATs to get them into LEAP, they are in LEAP for as long as they want to be. That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade currently. If, say, next year something happens, they are up all night, they don't score as well, that's, once they're in, unless they want out. And then if they want out, they need to discuss that with you and their parents. And, that will be a family decision, which we honor. We do like to see them work to their highest ability, but we do know that sometimes these are high-stress children who, kind of freak out when the ground behind them or below them is not that solid. Again, my name is Julie Plikerd. We'll be starting this class on Tuesday. If they're in 3rd and 4th grade reading LEAP, I will be seeing them every day the period before lunch, and I will be their reading teacher. You can contact me through email if you have any questions. Most of the books we'll be using I do have here in the classroom, but there may be a couple times where the library will be involved. I do say the library is the LEAPer's best friend because research is a big part of what we do. And then, like I said, if you need to contact me, it's jplikerd@mvca.oh.com. I am really looking forward and excited to get this started, and The Lion de Gardas is a really good book, and there's a lot of opportunities to do different things with it. But if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me if you don't feel like I've answered them here. There's reading involved, and there's writing involved for 3rd and 4th grade LEAP, and projects involved. But the projects are more student-based, student-picked. The one thing, again, I want to say is, we don't boast about being in LEAP. It is definitely a blessing that the school has the ability to offer this, and we just want to honor everybody here and not, make anybody feel bad. The only time that someone is, asked to leave LEAP is if they're not doing the work. In a non-graded situation, it's very hard for me to, hold them to, get this in. Because if it's non-graded, they know there's going to be an A. So if they don't do the work, what happens is they end up going back to their regular classrooms until maybe the, next quarter, next year, when their maturity level gets them more self-motivated to meet those types of deadlines and get their activities and their reading done on schedule. So again, look forward to Tuesday. Look forward to meeting your children next week. And if you have any questions, please feel free to call me. And I hope I didn't come off looking totally goofy on this thing. Thank you.